Ask anyone what the color of love is, and without a doubt, they will answer red. Why? Because historically, the heart was thought to be the seat of emotions. The evidence was that meeting a lover, or even just the thought of such an encounter, could set hearts pounding. Today, science tells us that the brain, not the heart, is the font of emotions. Specifically, it is the amygdala, two small clusters of nerve cells in the brain that are charged with processing emotions. Whether it is the stress of avoiding an approaching car or the thoughts of love, the amygdala send a signal to the command center of the brain, the hypothalamus, which then in turn sends a message to the adrenal glands to crank out some adrenaline. The heart responds to this hormone with a faster and stronger beat. Since the heart is red, more or less, we have the association of love with the color red. Valentine's Day means red roses, chocolates and red packaging, and red-colored candies. And not everyone is in love with the latter. The use of red food dye raises a red flag in the eyes of consumer protection organizations. The concern is about the safety of these colorants. Up to 1976, a synthetic dye that went by the name of red dye number 2 or amaranth was widely used to color candies. And then a couple of Russian studies claimed that it caused cancer in rodents, and the Americans, thinking the Russians must be knowledgeable about reds, banned it. Canadian manufacturers also stopped using it, although it is still legal in Canada. One replacement was carmine, an extract of the tiny cochineal insect. It also received criticism because of its potential allergenicity. Also, some people were not exactly enamored of a bug extract in their food. But the most popular replacement was another synthetic dye, red number 40 or Allura red. Issues were raised about this one as well, because of traces of a contaminant, benzidine, which is deemed to be a carcinogen. Then there is red dye number 3 or erythrocin, a substance with a somewhat bizarre history in that in the US, FDA does not allow its use in cosmetics because of a rat feeding study that showed it to be carcinogenic. But it does allow it in food. Food dyes are regulated differently. And since erythrocin has been listed as a permanent food color since 1907, it is more difficult to delist than a provisional dye, which is how red number 3 was listed as a cosmetic ingredient. The Center for Science in the Public Interest in the US has petitioned FDA to remove red number 3 from the market, citing its carcinogenicity potential and also evidence that synthetic dyes have been linked with behavioral problems in children. Many manufacturers have already moved to replace synthetic dyes with natural ones. For example, in Canada, Smarties are colored with carotenes for orange, extracts of blue-green algae for blue, turmeric for yellow, and for red, betaine, which is derived from beetroot. Remember, though, that no matter what the coloring, candies are a fun food, not a health food, and they should be eaten in limited amounts. But I wouldn't worry about eating a few red candies on Valentine's Day. If you get some gifted to you, go ahead and eat them. Depending on who you get them from, your heart may even respond. And that for today is our Cup of Joe.